Hello, everybody, and a very good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome to all our counselors, teachers, principals, and all the lovely students who are attending this webinar today. So, iDream Career is presenting this webinar today, which will speak about various opportunities in the media sector, as well as what kind of jobs you can target in the media industry as well. So, for people who are new to our platform, let me introduce you iDream Career as well. So, we are a career counseling venture in the business from almost 10 years now. We work with a lot of private schools, top-notch schools like Shri Ram, Kunskap Skolin, Sindhya School, Navy Children's School, etc. At the same time, we work with 13 government states in partnership with UNICEF, UNDP, etc. We work with a lot of CSR initiatives, a lot of foundations, and a lot of other students who can eventually go to idreamcareer.com and look in for career counseling services. So today, in our webinar today, we have Ms. Shweta Khanna Bhandral, who is there with all of you, who will be speaking about the webinar of today and all the opportunities that exist in the media sector. So before I move ahead and pass on the onus to her, just let me, have the privilege of introducing her. So Shweta has been, a very, very profound personality, if it is correct to say, for almost 20 years plus. So she has been into reporting, producing, anchoring, designing news, business, infotainment, as well as featuring shows for broadcast news and digital platforms for over 20 years now. And now she has shifted her focus to writing, education, career counseling, as well as content development. In terms of her education, she's done her BA honors in political science. Then she has done a PGDM in mass communication from Xavier's Institute. She's done an executive MBA. She's done a course in creative writing. And then finally, a Commonwealth program in teaching for learning in 2019. So Shweta, I think it is a privilege for all the students and everybody here who's joined us today, and lots and lots to learn from your session today. Thank you so much for being so participative, joining in, and addressing all the people here. Over to you, please.
Thank you, Garima, for such a beautiful introduction, and welcome everybody on our webinar today. The idea of this session is to actually, get you to know what is happening in the world of media today, how it has changed so much in last, say, about 5 to 7 years, I would say, and what are the opportunities in spite of all the bad news that we are hearing about, people about the industry and about what is happening in terms of jobs, etc. But yet there are lot more opportunities that are there. And what are those new opportunities that have come up? We'll discuss all of that in our webinar today. And we all know, where does it begin from? Where when we talk about media, what is media? And it's all encompassing. In fact, it's information and it's also news. So it is all about, it could be news at a lot of times, and it could not just be news at all, in a lot of sense. But when we talk about information, good information helps us make good decisions. It'll help you understand the challenges that you confront daily. It'll help you adopt an evolving environment. The changes that we are facing, we are all in a we've all been kind of locked in for a while, and we are now after the unlock phase. Also, there are a lot of us who are sitting at home, our children are at home, and we are looking at life in a totally different way. Our perspectives have changed. So that is what information does to you. It helps you make those decisions that you would have taken in past few months for yourself and for your family and for your friends, etc. And it gives you control over your life. Also, we are in a democracy, so voting with knowledge is also one thing that comes in with the right information that we have. So good information leads to all this. Where do we get our information from? We have different sources, of course, and nowadays we have a lot many. So there was one point in time when radio started, and after years of, and even before that there was newspaper, and after years of newspaper, years and years, I would say 100 years of newspaper, the first radio came in, and post radio television was not so far, so it came in pretty quickly. And now we are living in a, I would call it, a lot of us are calling it, in fact, fourth industrial revolution, which is, the ability to not only be in this world of internet, but to start operating digitally at every step in our life, in the sense that we are now talking about, obviously, virtual reality. We are talking about, there is AI that everyone is very familiar with now. So all these things are part of information ecosystem, social media, Facebook, Snapchat, messaging apps, family conversations, and community influencers. All of these are part of our information ecosystem, from where we get a dose of information every day. Even your neighborhood, your पड़ोसी भी आपको आके आपको जो भी खबर बता रहा है वो information है. कभी वो खबर हो सकती है, कभी वो खबर नहीं हो सकती है. So that means सूचना और खबर दो अलग-अलग चीजें हैं. And that's also why we have to tell it today, is also because media has changed so much in past few years. Uh, and obviously, each piece of information that we are accessing today has a different purpose. It comes to us with a different agenda, I would say. It goes through a different process to reach you, and it intends to have a different outcome. Not everybody is wanting you to start thinking. If somebody is wanting you to start buying, somebody is wanting you to probably start, types of information is raw, advertising is there, then there is publicity, propaganda, entertainment. A lot of entertainment we've consumed on various OTT platforms, and journalism obviously is the fourth pillar of our democracy, and it is the biggest source of information for us, biggest source of news for us, rather. Opinion is also information. And then there is those clickbait things where they give you information in a way that you want to click and read it, but it actually is not really anything very effective or very useful in that sense. So what is each type of information trying to do with you or trying to give you? So I'll just pick a few examples. An advertisement is what is wanting you to buy something. A propaganda is making you believe in an idea, and news actually tells you what is happening around you. So these are basic different types of informations that we have, and this is what these different type of informations are setting out to impact you in a particular manner. And this is what actually constitute the entire media industry. So advertising, films, entertainment, news, even gaming for that matter, all of this is part of media. It is media that you, your children, us, everybody is consuming on a daily basis. What is a Now, in all this, we really need to understand that there is some bit of a difference between news and information. So news obviously is for everybody, but information just might be for few people. All the information that's floating around, I might not need that. But if there is something big that has happened in terms of news, I would want to know it. If there's an earthquake somewhere, or there's an attack somewhere, or COVID related news, the vaccine coming out, that is information that everybody that I need. Information plus its impact is what becomes news. It is probably just entertainment. Information is sometimes probably just entertainment. It is useful, definitely. So something that's on government website for jobs, it's useful for everybody, but might not be something that everybody would need to know. So some basic differences. News can be at different levels, local, state, national, and similarly information also can be at different levels. But at different levels, different people will need it. It is something that people who consume do not, who do basically they information is just for consumption of people who want that information. News is consumption for all. It is shared by reporters, by media, and a lot of times it is actually definitely verified. There are platforms for it. There is an analysis done for the impact of that news. Whereas in information, the impact is not analyzed. So these are some basic differences between news and information, and that is also so a lot of advertising could be information, whereas news obviously is what is coming to you via news channels, via newspapers, via radio. Also, sometimes radio is also a bit of entertainment, bit of information, and bit of news. Similarly, a newspaper also has a lot of entertainment, a lot of news, and a lot of information as well, which is information to be used. So now all that information that is to be used also can be categorized to some bit of news, because that's news that you can use. So now, in all this that was happening, access to internet has expanded really greatly. There are 650 million people online in 2020. And we when we talk about 50% of India has their population is estimated to have access to internet, and India is the largest user base for platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, etc. The internet is no longer an urban commodity. You have to understand that uh, this is I mean, this is the latest data that we are talking about. So out of out of three Google searches, two are happening from not from metros. Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, these are our metros. Local language searches have increased by 10x. So this is what is happening, and this is how the internet is expanding, the capacity. And and in this expanding internet, media has changed completely. Uh, there was there was TV, which was very important because it was giving you uh, news with visual. There was radio because there was a voice that you could hear. Print was always and even till date is thought to be the most believable, because it's written text. So all these traditional mediums being there is an expansion of internet, and everybody has it. I'm right now in a village, and I was talking to a few women last week, and we were talking about all this in terms of media literacy, and I was trying to tell them how things are today and how they have to be a little cautious when they are on the internet, when they are searching things, how they can fall prey to fake news, etc. We will talk about all that, but it was interesting to understand, to see them, that they are watching a lot of local content. They are watching a lot of content on YouTube. They are not so many of them are now watching television news. In fact, whatever news, their sources of information, when I asked them, were WhatsApp, YouTube. So, and this is a village which is uh, like a really tiny village. No, it's not like one of those very rich villages that I'm talking about. So that's how the entire space has changed, and each and every child in this village also is now learning through mobile. They are on their mobile phones. Their parents they don't know what they're accessing there. So the entire uh, entire ecosystem, entire the way of functioning of media has changed a lot. Just to give you some basic data in terms of the change that I'm talking about so much, social media, there are 70,000 searches on Google every second. 50 crore blogs are written. 500 hours of videos is uploaded on YouTube every minute. 50 crore people use Instagram stories every day. 6,000 tweets are posted on Twitter every second. So this is the power of social media. There's so many people who are engaged on it, and continuously actually publishing uh, whatever content that they have. So what has changed? Print, which is newspaper, magazine, tabloid, newsletter, is television, films, news, entertainment, sports, everything is now digital. When I say everything is now digital, the whole policy of media, the face of media is digital first. And when we say digital first, we basically mean that the every irrespective of what they are, print or television or entertainment or news or sports, they have a policy. They even kids channels for that matter, kids entertainment channels. Each one of them now are thinking uh, digital first. They are thinking how to be on that platform. They are thinking of promoting themselves. Not only thinking, they are promoting heavily themselves on those platforms, on social media. They are also uh, you know not only promoting and thinking and writing for that medium, they are also alongside uh, changing their entire structure and becoming digital first. So the need of the jobs that are being created are also being created in that area. The traditional fields of job, people are required to upgrade. Uh, or everybody who knows television also needs to know how to take it on the digital platform. Everybody who knows print also needs to know what works on the digital platform. So the digital has basically kind of really uh, you know uh, made everything it's become like an umbrella, and in that umbrella, under that umbrella, everybody is now standing and looking what they can do and how they can kind of make their content work, or how they can make their product reach a particular consumer, or how a brand can actually be enhanced. So various films were probably the last ones to get to ride on this wagon, because and COVID forced them to do that. They were films were only being made for the big screen, the theaters. Though I'm sure we will all still be going to theaters once everything is normal, but the releasing of films on OTT platforms was a big change for this industry, in terms of you know in terms of moving towards digital, and that finally kind of uh, made the entire media change completely. So what is digital media? Digital means that when the content is distributed via internet, this is as simple as that. And a good part of it is digital journalism, because online, when the editorial content is online, it is digital journalism. It is given via internet. Previously, traditional media was the boss: newspaper, magazine, radio, television. You would believe on them, you would know what they are. Now the power is in the hands of masses. Now, when I say that the power is in the hands of masses, it is literally in the hands of masses, because whatever works on digital media is what is what is kind of uh, discussed, is what is kind of taken forward. It is what anything that goes viral becomes a discussion, or a debate by the evening on a television channel. It is also a story that's covered, probably. So every story is first covered on the digital platform, and then it is covered on the other mediums. Whereas newspaper is the only one which take times and still goes deeper into that story. But they also have their websites, and that's where they are putting their stories first. So uh, there are some basic things in communication, in terms of trends that we can see. There are apps, there are podcasts, WhatsApp, websites, social media. These are the areas which are really which are being targeted by everybody. So there are news organizations which have their apps. There are closed groups like She Heroes, and lots of other groups, even fitness groups for that matter. So everybody is wanting to launch an app and make a community and kind of deal with service that community, in fact. So that's happening on that's specifically an app service that is there. So lots of news channels have an app. They have mobile content specifically developed for those apps, and that's how they are serving, and it's all subscription based. So that's how they're serving their uh, consumers and viewers, who are on mobile phone, who are basically viewers on mobile, who are not watching TV or are not consuming content on TV. Podcast obviously is another this thing. A lot of people, it podcast took a dip in the beginning of this year, specifically in 2020, when the COVID began, because a lot of people who were traveling and it was the data told us that a lot of people who are traveling are consuming podcast more. But then eventually people, when they started working at home and they wanted some kind of rest from the screen, they started listening to podcasts again, and it kind of picked up really well after that. WhatsApp, a lot of businesses are happening on WhatsApp. There are groups where on which you can broadcast all the information. Well, WhatsApp is used for a lot of internal communication as well. There are websites, which is newsletter, email, subscription based things. Websites are also mostly news content. It's said that in 2021 that a lot of news and will be subscription based. People will want to kind of take online subscription and read news from those websites. There are These websites are promoting themselves by sending their newsletters, to via emails, obviously. Then there is social media, which is like a free for all space, and a lot of YouTube content has been developed. There are a lot of YouTube influencers who are covering a lot of news daily. There are a lot of YouTube influencers who are being used by brands to talk about their brands. Everything that space is quite full, and a lot has been happening in that space for a while. There are not only YouTube influencers, there are Instagram influencers, there are people on Facebook. Basically, an influencer who the influencer category has developed over past few years, and those influencers are there and present on all the social media handles, and that's what they are. That's their earning space. They are earning from those spaces. And the biggest fallout of that entire thing that is happening in terms of so much of social media, in terms of so much of digital, is that everything that you look in that space, especially in terms of news, in terms of uh, you know whatever information that you are getting, it might not actually be news, or might not actually be really true for that matter. There's one flag here, red flag, that I would like to raise is: don't believe everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture with a quote next to it. Obviously, Abraham Lincoln never said it, but this is what the idea is, to tell you that everything is very easy to be kind of uh, put on social media, and actually uh, it's easier to uh, say a lot of stuff that actually doesn't exist, manipulate a lot of content, uh, mislead people, give them misinformation. All that is very possible on the social media, because as Scott Pelley says, that in a world where everyone is a publisher, no one is an editor, and that is the danger that we face today. uh, by and it's so true that social, and that is how it is, the power is in the hands of masses, because that's another way where everyone is today a publisher. You, me, uh, even a 11-year-old child who's operating on internet and is probably creating content, maybe even if it's just their assignment that they're doing. Or in fact, I've seen a trend in lots of children who are 10 years old and 11 years old, and they have who in this year got access to a lot of internet. They understood about a lot of things. They are now learning editing in school, and so they the access to and they've actually come up with their own YouTube channels, because all of them suddenly want to become YouTube influencers or YouTube stars, because that's what they've seen. They're looking at a lot of it, and they were, up till now, probably a lot of them did not know how to operate, but this year actually exposed them to technology like never before. So they are doing that as well, and everybody is becoming a publisher. So it's very easy to actually give out information which is not checked, which is not verified, which might not be true. you know so this is the basic difference between traditional media and social media. Traditional media is it's raw information which is published as news only when it is verified and cross-checked from reliable sources by reporters and editors. Having said that, there are a lot of media houses which might not be doing this thing, but it's the original essence of journalism, and the original essence of traditional media is that uh, we verify news and then we give it out. we understand, analyze it, and then we kind of put it forward. Social media, there is no verification, there is no gatekeeping. Everyone is free to put whatever they want to, and one swipe it all is all it takes to kind of put everything there. uh, and fake news obviously is a very poorly defined term, but in most of the cases, there are a lot of things that it stands for. Misinformation is one of them, which is false information disseminated without harmful intention. So you and me forwarding something which has come to us, say for example, uh, अदरक और काली मिर्च का पानी पीने से आप कोरोना से बच जाएंगे. A lot of us must have forwarded something like this or similar to a lot of our relatives and friends, thinking that okay, probably this is one cure and everybody should do this. But this was obviously misinformation, because it won't cure anything. It's a traditional recipe for probably a sore throat, but it's not going to kind of help you with corona in that sense. So, and then is disinformation, which is created and by with a specific intention, and the intention and with the intent of actually doing harm. So also that kind of content has been created widely. There are creators who are there are people who are doing this, a lot of unscientific claims, hoax, rumors, false context pictures, imposter content, manipulated content. You can see something in the picture, but something has been photoshopped and put somebody else has been put there. Satire, even satire and parody. A lot of comedians, stand-up comedians, actually had to bear the brunt, and they were kind of uh, questioned, etc., for whatever they were saying. But satire and parody has been part of our culture for a long time, all our theater thing, and we are a democracy. It's but that also has been picked up and manipulated and put in false context and served to people in some other way. Absolutely. So it's everybody has become a content creator, a storyteller in their own right, and a lot of it has been done for propaganda, definitely. So misinformation and disinformation is something that we have to really, really be very, alert about. Uh, Whatever we are getting as information or news on WhatsApp. Uh, is definitely something that one should check before forwarding. Do not forward anything, is what I would say, before you have done your basic check. How do you do your basic check? Do a simple Google search of that news. If there is something on it, you will know about it. If one channel is speaking about it, look at the other channels. What are they saying about it? So this is what you can do in terms of if you come across anything like this, which all of us do come across and we don't realize. Sometimes sometimes it's not only unscientific claims in terms of uh, saying that uh, talking about coronavirus or vaccine or something like that, but also something to do with uh, especially in terms of education, science. A lot of children have those questions. uh, there are a lot of hoax and false rumors that are doing around. A lot of conspiracy theories are part of these rumors. Uh, the virus was made in the Chinese lab. A lot of students recently asked me that in one of my classes, and I was pretty this thing that, how do you know about it? So, no, no, ma'am, everybody's talking about it. And I was like, yeah, really, but did you guys check it? So, oh no, we didn't check it because nobody told them that this should be checked. Nobody told them that this should be verified. So we need to verify all the information that's coming to us in any form. uh, and as I said, everyone is a content creator, so let us look at what is happening in this ecosystem when we are creating content. Creators, someone who creates content; consumers, someone who is receiving that content; and there are distributors. Now, originally they were the traditional media, the newspaper, the broadcasters were the distributor of this kind of content. Now there are obviously digital distributors, which could be blogs, social media platforms, search engines, online news aggregators, all these platforms. In fact, all across, when you are looking at, say for example, films are made only for entertainment. Yeah, now there could be, and they always have a disclaimer in the beginning. All the historicals that have been made up till now always give you a disclaimer that, lots of things have been changed, probably just to give the story a more whatever look. But we tend to believe whatever they have said, and then we start feeding on it, and then our mind gets trained that, okay, this is what happened, but we were told something else. So a lot of so everywhere in media, this kind of content creation is happening with some kind of an objective, to make you believe on certain things, or to maybe make you watch it more, or to create some kind of controversy out of it, so that it kind of does more business. So find out why somebody is sharing something with you in the format that they are sharing it with you, and why now, what who's how can I verify the claim that this fellow or this person is making, whether it's in a news story, or if it's in a written article, or even if you're watching a documentary film for that matter, or a historical, I would say, anything. So what is news and what is opinion is also something that is very that we need to understand, because a lot of opinion is being fed to us today in the name of news. Sometimes opinion can be news. There is an analysis that's done for anything that has an impact, and that obviously is an opinion attached to it. But that opinion is an expert opinion. Somebody who knows, understands the thing, is talking about it and giving you a perspective. But if there is an opinion, there has to be, there is always somebody for the motion and against the motion. So though you take your decision on the basis of both, but if somebody is only feeding you for the motion, or if somebody is only feeding you against the motion, then there's a problem there. you know so that's why we need to understand that news is based on multiple viewpoints. Opinion is based on a singular viewpoint. News believes facts speaks for themselves, whereas opinion believes that information and arguments too. And news is objective and impersonal, and opinion is subjective and personal. And a lot of what we see in terms of so where do you find opinion? You find opinion in the editorial page on in the newspaper, and most of your uh, debate shows, which are from 6 o'clock onwards nowadays. You see a lot of opinion there. Now whenever you see uh, similar looking faces uh, every day sitting on those in those studios and talking about an issue, there should be a red flag in your head saying that, okay, they are just feeding me a lot of their opinion, and they're not giving me the other perspective. So debate is not balanced. And you will understand when the debate is not balanced. If there's only one person against and there are five people for the motion, obviously the debate is not balanced. If the debate is not balanced, they are not letting you make a good decision at that point in time. So they're manipulating that content for you. They're spinning the stories for you in that sense. Manipulation happens with images, real videos. There are shallow fakes, there are deep fakes. Deep fakes started with the last US election, last to last US elections. Misinformation, disinformation, facts misused or manipulated. You know, they they will a lot of facts will be told to you. A lot of facts will not be told to you. Facts will be told in a wrapped in a different situation. Uh, it's analyzing data, and whatever suits them, they will put that in front of you. So true information but false context, something which is mostly true, something which is mostly false. So one true information with a lot of false information wrapped around it. One historical information which is true, or incident which is true, with a lot of false historical stories attached to it. So see everything with that critical angle, with that critical eye. Why do we kind of what happens, what is this that we feed on, and we kind of start believing what is happening in this world today, and why are we being fed on in one particular kind of manner? So we have actually created this filter bubble around us. So this is called filter bubble, the concept, which is on websites like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You will see that you will only get in your feed, you have 500 friends, but you will see only those 15 or 20 whom you are liking. The news that you like, the videos that you like, the people that you're talking to, the people that you're liking, the opinion that you're liking. So you have created a filter bubble around you. Now, this could be, and this is obviously based on your search history and your sharing history and what you're doing on that platform. Now, another concept is echo chamber. Echo chamber is a step ahead of filter bubble, basically. So once you have created that filter bubble, the enhanced satisfaction comes from the echo chamber part of it. It's a space where existing beliefs and opinions get reinforced. Now, what are these spaces? These could be your WhatsApp groups. These could be your even your closed communities where you are. So you are only dealing with those people. You are happy with them. The kind of because they are basically just talking about what you believe in, just giving you one particular kind of perspective all the time. And obviously, this happens because we have certain biases, though it's human to have bias, but there are some good biases and there are some bad biases. Now, it's a list that's in front of you right now. A lot of this is happening, and we can see it today. It happens in our daily life. It's because of these biases that we tend to kind of tilt towards one perspective and start just following that, and we start becoming comfortable in it. you know ऐसा बोला जाता है कि सच जो है वो कड़वा होता है, तो हम लोगों को normally our mind is not tuned in to listen to a lot of truth because we want to live in harmony. And living in harmony means basically भेड़ चाल में चलते रहना, जो हो रहा है उसमें चलते रहो ना आराम से. That's the whole idea. So our mind is tuned into that kind of easiness in life, and we don't want anything to disturb our routine and our thought process. And we don't want to strain our mind with thinking a lot in terms of what's right, what's true. So these are a lot of biases that we have, which lead to all this. Uh, and one of the most pervasive, obviously, is the confirmation bias, and this is obviously about it confirms our existing beliefs. So we have been told a certain set of stories, and we believe in those stories. And if anything has been said for them, we completely agree with it. If anything is said against it, we either don't want to listen to it, or we kind of disagree to it completely. So don't support it also sometimes. So it's basically preconceived notions, age old thoughts and practices which get pushed down through the ages, emotionally charged issues, and deeply entrenched political and religious beliefs. So I would also request you all to look, uh, every time when you're dealing with, a set of children in a classroom as teachers, or, if you're reading a piece of information or consuming some video, or even watching a film for that matter, understand why you are uh, making a particular decision or liking a particular thing, what kind of biases are playing in your head. To understand your biases and to know them really helps you take a better decision, and also helps you know where you're going in terms of uh, you know a, in terms of a decision making person in today's social media world. It'll also help you kind of not fall for a lot of misinformation and disinformation that's being shared and is being floated around. So how do you hack that algorithm that's being shared with you, or that's working around you? uh, Read the same article slash story on different platforms. uh, Change your news source to get different perspectives. uh, what I do is that I don't. There was a time when we only used to have one newspaper coming in our house, and I think it's the same case with almost everybody. You have a set of newspapers, one, two, three, or one, two, or whatever, one business or one national coming to your house, and you read it every day. So I started changing those newspapers every few months. In last 2 years, I've done that a lot. And I started reading different papers or different things, or once I just stopped the newspaper and no newspaper is coming to my house, and I was only reading news through various websites, different websites. So I'm just getting a lot of other perspective. I've kind of kind of hacked my brain algorithm as well. And if you want to hack the algorithm that these social media platforms, like you don't want to fall into a filter bubble, then what you do is that you also tend to read or view media that you not very often view. So you will see that a lot of recommendations will start changing. So if you're watching a lot of YouTube, uh, test this. Open one YouTube handle, one on one tab, and another tab also, again open another YouTube this thing, and start watching different things, and how you will see how recommendations change. you know and also, whenever, this is like the bottom line, whatever news you are getting, whatever information you are getting from wherever you are getting it, please verify, verify, verify. Do a simple Google search. uh, आप उस नॉर्मल उससे सोचिए कि जब हमें कोई हमारे मोहल्ले या नेबरहुड को इंफॉर्मेशन देता है, तो हम हमेशा किसी दूसरे व्यक्ति से जाके पहले ये पूछते हैं ना, तुम्हें पता है ये हुआ है? तो जब हम उससे पूछ रहे हैं तुम्हें पता है, इसका मतलब हम उससे वेरीफाई करना चाहते हैं कि डज ही नो दैट समथिंग लाइक दिस हैज हैपेंड. सो इफ 10 people say that, okay, I have heard of it, I have heard of it, I have heard of it, you also then want to know how many of them actually have seen it happening, if something has happened in terms of an action. So verify that thing. Don't consume anything that's coming to you just on the face of it. Don't believe in everything that's coming to you, especially on WhatsApp and your social media platforms, because everybody that who's putting any kind of information and news on those platforms is not really putting it from the point of view of just they have their different agendas and propagandas playing behind it. So you have to be really cautious about it, and that's how the entire media industry has changed, and a lot of new careers have also come up. We will quickly look at some career opportunities that are there. So obviously there are data journalists, which are in high demand. There are fact checkers, and there are mojo journalists. So mojo journalists, basically mobile people who are shooting their stories on mobile people. So they are reporters who have become influencers also today. They are saying their stories, they are shooting their stories, they are editing on the cell phone, and they are working for various digital platforms, or they have their own platforms that they have created from which they are earning now. They are fact checking. The fact checkers are basically traditionally journalists only, uh, but and I would say a lot of investigative journalist, a reporter. जब भी आप बनते हैं, तो थोड़ा सा इन्वेस्टिगेटिव फील आपके अंदर होता है. You have that thing in your stomach, in your belly, that you want to know the truth, and you want to kind of reach to the bottom of everything, and that's what the fact checker bit is all about. All the organizations today, uh, irrespective of whether they are a print network, or a television network, or a digital network, they all have fact checking desks. So that's one opportunity that's big. Data journalists also are required almost by all organizations. In fact, even uh, there are data journalists slash analysts also, I would say. They're like the advertising industry and a lot of other industries. There are data analysts also who are very much in demand. uh, in terms of jobs in journalism, obviously there are basic jobs, which is a job of a reporter. You can be a digital reporter, newspaper reporter, whose job is to actually go out and get the news every day, write articles, and feed those digital platforms or newspapers. You can be a TV reporter. For being a TV reporter is a one or two step ahead of being a newspaper reporter, because now in a lot of organizations, you will see a single reporter is also reporting for digital platform, is also reporting for TV. There are still not too many are examples of the ones who are also writing. So that's but a lot of them are TV and digital reporters at the same time. Now, TV reporter is someone who's covering that event or story live from that location, and is visually capturing it for you. And these are two very different reporting styles. Then there are video journalists and photographers. So photographers normally work. These are also called video journalists, or photojournalists. These are people who are capturing things in their lenses, from through the lens, and these, they might not be expert in writing, but they are brilliant in terms of what they capture. And a lot of television reporting is done with a videographer, but a lot of television reporting now is also is also being shot on the mobile phone. uh, Similarly, a lot of photographers are still going to locations in terms of feeding their digital platforms and newspapers, whereas you a lot of you know there is a lot of it is done of by the reporter himself through mobile, and that's what mobile mojo journalism is all about. Uh, Now, when we are talking about inside a newsroom, there is a news producer, copy desk. So you're a writer, you're producing the bulletin every day that you see. So this is a news this is the work of a news producer. There are graphic designers, which is a separate team altogether. If you're and most a lot of graphic designing is done in broadcast. A lot of infographic and everything is made on digital platforms, and so that's why graphic designers really are essential part of news networks today. And then there are news anchors who are in front of the camera, who are giving that news. There are news readers or reporters also who graduate to become news anchors. There are researchers in television and digital and newspaper. These people are kind of backbone in terms of content, because they're looking at data, they're looking at what has happened already. For debate shows, there are separate teams where there are researchers who are telling you what happened when. There are sound directors, which is also a very technical this is a person who controls the entire sound system. There are switchers, which is again a very technical this thing. So sound direction and everything is all this is taught in media schools, uh, not particularly in journalism schools, but a lot of media schools do teach all of this. Then there are, obviously in digital world, there are content writers or bloggers, there are YouTubers, there's obviously freelance correspondent who's writing, who's contributing to various platforms. Uh, then there are public relation people. In public relation, so there are corporate communication people, and then there are communication strategists, and they're all working with brand. Now their work is not to kind of actually create that content, but they are taking help of other people to create that content and put it out with a positive image of a brand. They are mostly related to corporates and even government. All government organizations also have public relations, PROs. There are all the bigger corporates have corporate communication heads and a team that does this. And then there is a strategist who's basically strategizing the entire communication thing, which is now these people are obviously a higher level this thing, so they're mostly masters in business application, like MBAs, who are into this business. Radio, obviously, so the radio jockey, you have a good voice, you have a good style, you have something that people like to listen to you. You have that thing, to become like sutradhar of a show, and you can connect things. Creativity is something that is really one thing that radio jockey must have, and you can become a radio jockey. It's not then there are radio producers. So radio jockey normally has a radio producer who works with them to create very similar to broadcast, to create a full show. Then there are voiceover artists who are dubbing artists, who are also, English, Hindi, any other languages. A lot of work is happening in this field. A lot of translations are happening. So if you have a good voice, if you're well trained in kind of speaking well, then you can get into this world of translation and dubbing and becoming a voiceover artist. In advertising, there are creative directors, art directors, copywriters. This is a creative side of advertising. These are basically people who are thinking of how to present that brand, making those ads that you see, writing those advertisements that you see on various platforms. There are other people who are in advertising, which is the other side, which is media manager, content manager, content strategist. Now these are people who are who are managing their digital content strategists doing that. There's separate people managing the social media content and running. Media planners are buying media, planning media and customer relation, etc. Then there is entertainment, where you are becoming a filmmaker. You can become a documentary filmmaker. There are short filmmakers who are, there are a lot of people who are making short films these days. Very interesting short films. You can see on your OTT platforms, on YouTube, etc. They're cinematographers. This is taught in cinema schools, in mass media schools, especially at higher level studies. Script writers are obviously writers who are writing those stories, and who are writing those screenplays. Video editors, production designer, sound director. These are all things that are all people who are the work opportunities, the job opportunities that are there, still there. So production, there's a producer, there's an executive producer, there's a line producer there. There are stylists, पहले costume designers बोलते थे, now they're now across the board. Even in broadcast news you have stylists, and obviously film and television you definitely have stylists. Then there are animation and VFX, like we have in news you have those graphic designers. In films they are in post production, a lot of animation VFX has been used these days, so that is there. And that's about it in terms of opportunities and the jobs that are there, the new jobs that are being created. All of these people are now training themselves in a lot of stuff, in terms of they need to know how to handle data. They need to understand what works and what doesn't work. So they are working hand in hand with people who know SEO, search engine optimization, who also know how to what is to be kind of understood by by the social media uh, handle of the particular network, or say for example how they are promoting a film. So we are all I would like to kind of end this presentation with this little quote that I have. We are all storytellers. We all live in a network of stories, and there isn't a stronger connection between people than storytelling, so all the entire media, actually the entire industry, is living and thriving on storytelling, and each one of them is telling a story in a different way. We have to be just pick our style, in terms of if you're looking for a career in media, you have to pick your style. And if you're not looking for a career in media, and if you're looking at media as a consumer, then also critically see every style that you're looking at, and see what is in it for you and how it helps you make a better decision each day. Garima?
Yes, Shweta. Okay. All right, just a moment. Yep. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I think, that was a very, very informative session. Specifically, when you explained what actually the media industry looks like, words and their meanings, and eventually the opportunities that flow. I mean, some great information out there, Shweta. Thank you. So I'll move on to the questions that we have from
Sure.
our viewers. In the meanwhile, I would request everybody who's there watching our session on the YouTube channel, please do post your questions on the YouTube chat box. And we have our moderator, Mr. Thomas John, who will take up your questions and route them to us, and we will get them answered. So, Shweta, to start with, we have Girijan Sankaran. So, he says that, we are told that media are poor paymasters, and unless you are employed by premier media houses specifically. So, in such a scenario, should we recommend students to pursue any mainstream media job?
I would say that I wouldn't say that media are poor paymasters. In fact, they have been paying pretty well in last all these years. Uh, Definitely, the industry is specifically, if you talk about the news industry, is probably not in a great shape as of now. But every industry evolves, and they're in that cycle of evolving, of doing a major shift from traditional to completely digital. And you will see some bit of a situation here. But I think another year, so this year obviously helped them change a lot, and another year and a half down the line you will be much more clear There is a lot of money in content. There is a lot of money if you become a blogger. There is money if you are a YouTuber. There is money if you become the only thing is that that traditional thing of just becoming a journalist, or just doing or just writing, or say just knowing how to write copy for an ad is not enough. You need to be if you're in media, if you're jumping into that thing, you should know a little more, a little beyond what traditionally it was. So it's never a great it's never it's not a bad time to get into this industry. And I wouldn't say that they're bad pay masters. In fact, in advertising, in media buying, uh, you are very handsomely paid. And even in journalism, in films, in uh, you really get paid well. And it's also a creative field, so there's a lot of satisfaction also when you do that kind of work.
Great, great. Thank you. All right. So, moving on to the next question.
Garima,
So,
I can't hear you.
okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can now.
All right. So, moving on to the next question, Shweta. So, how do we teach students to be objective about what they read online? And what do you think is one of the best ways to introduce media literacy
The last bit, the best ways to introduce media to students.
to schools? Yeah, yeah, to students in schools.
Okay, so see, the one of the best ways to actually tell them to introduce them to media is when you're giving them those assignments. You are asking them to do certain searches, but you have to make sure that tell them that don't go on websites which do not have HTTPS in them. So the S stands for secure. If it's not a site which has HTTPS in it, if the S is missing, they shouldn't be getting onto that site. Also, when you're telling them, think of you have to kind of preempt that what is it that they will probably browse, or how is it that you can make that assignment more interactive for them by using various tools, say for example YouTube or this thing. And but yet at the same time tell them that that's not the end of this thing. So if you're putting something on YouTube, tell them what security they have to kind of go through. So they shouldn't be kind of making it public. It's for personal consumption. You shouldn't make it public till the time anybody sees and verifies that information for you as a senior, somebody who, if it's for school purposes, then obviously it has to be a closed group. When they're reading something, when you're asking them to go or read certain thing on a website, ask them to read the same thing on 2 or 3 different websites, so that they get different perspectives, and they don't get stuck with one side of the story. So if they will read something on different websites, or in fact you should give them those different 3 websites of each. Say if you're giving an example of something in history for that matter, or some election thing to read, then tell them that you go on one website, then you go on the second one which is telling you exactly the opposite, then the third one which is mixing up all the information and giving you probably every bit of it. So you will have to handhold them through the process, and then they will get used to this. That's how you hack the algorithm in the head also, when you are saying that how do you read across different things and come, because they are consuming a lot of media, definitely, and they are reading and looking at a lot of things. So you have to constantly also tell the parents that they have to keep a watch on what they are what their kids are browsing and what their kids are reading. Have discussions with them on latest things that are happening. So be open to them in terms of what you are reading, and what they are reading, and also make them aware of their biases. That, oh, you believe in this because probably you have been told this story all through. So that's why you believe in this particular story, that you believe that, okay, this person was there, or this land belonged to XYZ person, etc.
Cool. I think very valuable points here, Shweta. So,
Hmm.
okay, so we have another question, a little specific though. So,
Yeah.
Yamini has mentioned that she has done her post graduation in English. So, Do you think you can suggest on any content writing courses that could be beneficial for her?
So, she's already done her MA, she's saying, right?
She's done a post
Yeah.
graduation in English. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you've done your post graduation in, so if you're looking for content writing specific courses, then I would say that there are some very interesting courses on online platforms, which can be done, for content writing. You can look at two, three of them. So maybe Coursera has some interesting courses. There are also some institutes, like the top notch institutes, who are giving these courses nowadays. So look for them. Just do a generic search on Google. You will find a lot many. I would say there's Pointers, I think, who's also giving, which is a very interesting platform. So search them and see. There are, you will also see recommendations by people. You will also see reviews. So on the basis of those reviews, make your decision in terms of which platform do you want to go with. Look at the course. What kind of course is it? Is it telling you how to write for brands or corporates? Is it telling you how to write, become an author? Is it telling you how to write as a journalist? Or is it telling you everything? So make your choice, pick up what you want to do. Yeah. And that will be easier, because I don't know whether you want to, what is your intention when you're saying content writing. It's a vast field. I might not be able, I'm a content writer, but I don't write technical content. I'm a content writer, I don't write scientific content. So which is your area? You have to look for that, and that you will only be able to see when you see the details of the course in terms of what kind of a course it is.
All right, great. So I think, Shweta, that brings us to the set of end of the questions that we've received from our viewers as of now. Yeah, so nothing more, though I would request everybody to please, make sure that this webinar reaches to your fellow colleagues and students. I think it was a great piece of information to really know the crux of, what media industry and what it actually holds. And people have different apprehensions around the industry, so you could very clearly and precisely cater to mentioning and letting people know what it is all about. So thank you, Shweta. Kudos to your session today. Thank you so very
Thank you
much.
so much, Garima. Thank you,
Thank
Garima.
you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you. And everybody else, please stay tuned on our IDC YouTube channel. Keep watching our channel and getting updates about the sessions planned for the coming few days. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Shweta. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you.